When you decide to do something in your life, whether it's a small or big goal, you must understand that there will be people who will try to convince you to quit. There are three types of these people, and before we talk about them, remember this. You are responsible for the actions of others towards you. If somebody treats you bad, check yourself first to see if you have invited that behavior into your life with your thoughts, words, or actions. Let's now look at those three types of people. No. 1. People who benefit from you quitting. These are the people who profit from your inaction. They benefit from you not doing what you want to do. What? Because they know that by you doing it, they might lose something. So what is it exactly that they might lose? Well, it could be anything, but most likely it would be your attention. Think about it. What do people usually do when they have a problem? They talk about it. Where do they talk about it? Usually with their closest friends and family. We often tell our problems to someone else because we feel good about ourselves when we say it out loud. When we express our problems, we feel 43% better immediately after the first conversation about it. But if you keep quiet about your struggles and no one knows about them, then you carry the burden alone and you don't get any benefit from it. That's why some people invite others into their problems so they can unload the burden. And also, here's some advice. However, sometimes the person you share your problem with might not mean to do it, but they might use your problem to put themselves in a better position. Take, for example, a couple who decided to buy a house together. The man wants to buy a house near his parents, while the woman wants to live somewhere else. Now imagine that the man tells his parents about this disagreement. Will his parents be happy about it? Of course not. They would much prefer him to stay close by. So how will they convince him to change his mind? By telling them all the reasons why living far away would be bad for them both. Why? Because they benefit from having their son close to them. They benefit from you quitting your goal. These people discourage you because they are too afraid to face their own reality. They avoid it by looking at you and seeing all the effort you put into something. At the same time, they avoid their own responsibilities. These are the people who will try to convince you to quit your goal, whatever it is. Make sure you recognize these signs and leave such toxic people behind. People who have quit themselves, there is nothing more discouraging than seeing someone give up on their dreams. It makes you wonder if it's worth trying in the first place, especially if it's someone you admire or respect. For example, let's say you wanted to become a you spend months planning and working on your videos, but you haven't uploaded yet. Now you see someone quit. They were so close to achieving their goal, but they gave up anyway. This can easily discourage you, especially if you are still not sure about your decision to become a you. Imagine you're a young musician who practices every day. You love music and you have big plans for the future. Then suddenly you hear that your idol has quit playing music. What would you think? Should you quit too? Most likely yes, because if someone like that gives up, what chance do you have? These are the people who have already given up on their dreams, and you can tell them apart by the words they use when they speak to you. They say things like, I used to dream about it, but... And then they start talking about how difficult everything is. Sometimes they even regret talking to you because they realize that by doing so, they remind themselves of their failed goals. These are the people who will try to convince you to quit. Even though they may not mean to do it, they usually do it by being an example for you. Do not misunderstand it. Giving up on a goal doesn't always mean that it was a bad thing to do. Sometimes it's necessary for us to move on to something new and more important. However, when we see others do it, we naturally wonder if we should do the same. These are the people who will try to convince you to quit your goal. Try to ignore them and do what you have to do instead. And no. 3. People who don't know about your goal. This type of person is not interested in your goal. In fact, they probably don't even know about it. They probably don't know anything about your plan to achieve it. They just don't care. What? They are focused on their own lives and do not want to waste time on something that has nothing to do with them. This is the reason why they will never try to help you achieve your goal. They won't do it because they don't know about it and don't care. If you ask them for advice, they will try to pretend they know something about it. They will tell you what worked for them, but they won't tell you the whole truth. The truth is that they don't know anything about your goal. They don't know anything about you. They don't care about you. They only pretended to be nice to you because they don't want to hurt your feelings. These are the people who will try to convince you to quit. Just because they do only know about your goal doesn't mean they do want you to succeed. It's probably because they are too busy dealing with their own problems. If someone asks you for advice, but you realize they are not really interested in what you have to say, just stop talking to them. They are not going to take your advice anyway. So why waste your... Okay, we talked about the 3 types of people who will try to convince you to quit. Now, let's talk about what you should do when this happens. Remember that you are responsible for the actions of others towards you. If somebody treats you bad, check yourself first to see if you have invited that behavior into your life with your thoughts, words, or actions. Whenever someone tries to convince you to quit, think about these 3 questions. No? 1, does this person believe in me? If the answer is no, then it's best to ignore them and focus on your goals. No. 2, does this person support my goal? If the answer is no again, then it's best to ignore them and focus on your goal. And no. 3, is this person actively trying to help me achieve my goal? If the answer is no once again, then it's best to ignore them and focus on your goal. Don't ever let other people control your emotions. When someone says something to you, you have the choice of how to react. If you choose not to react at all, then it's like it never happened. It's like you didn't hear it. Sometimes we need to learn how to detach ourselves from the opinions of others. We need to learn how to be indifferent to what others think of us. Only then can we reach our goal. Now, here's the secret truth. There is no right or wrong way to live life. Everyone has their own path. Some people choose to follow their dreams, while others choose to follow the crowd. Some people choose to listen to others. Others choose to listen to themselves. Some people choose to trust others. Others choose to trust themselves. Some people choose to love others. Others choose to love themselves. And that's okay. But if you choose to follow your dreams, then don't let others stop you. Be the one who didn't quit. And if you want to continue to grow, we have some more content for you.